All right, good morning. Have to turn the fan down there for a minute. So here's some examples of what we're doing for this Tiki totem unit. The students that are here are making things out of real clay, and so here's what some real clay ones look like. I don't have any modeling clay examples, but I'm going to make one for you right now. Here's another example of a real clay one. These have to be hollow inside, and this one, poor guy, broke his hat. And then if you happen to have wood at home that you want to use and carve, you could make one out of wood too. Just be very careful, wear gloves if you're going to carve. So here I have some modeling clay in which you will get as soon as you let me know how you want to pick it up, or if you need me to drop it off at your home. You just gotta shoot me an email and let me know what you prefer, because you can come right to my door and I can actually just get it for you. So I'm softening this in my hands by I first ripped it into small pieces and then softened it, and then I put it all back together. The warmth of your hands and kind of wedging it over and over again will help soften the clay a little bit, because at first when it's cold it's hard. All right, so and then I'm going to use this tool right here, which you could use a spoon or a fork or a stick, and you could put up inside there to kind of clear out some of that clay and make it so you're dealing with more of a hollow structure. That way you can use this clay for other things instead of having it just be jammed up in there, not doing any good anywhere. And I'm not getting a lot out of there, but if you're persistent, you'll get a little bit more. Okay, and then so now you can see now I can kind of control a little bit more of how that's going to look if I wanted to use pressure on the inside for any features at all. Okay, and now I'm going to take a stick, just a piece of wood I had laying around. This was broken from a cutting board, and I'm going to kind of flatten out the areas, because I want to work with kind of a rectangular shape. You can choose what shape you work with. Look at some different tikis online. Look at some different totems online if you're choosing to do a totem. Remember, if you're doing a totem, there's going to be more features on there. So it is going to be more, you're probably going to have to make it a little smaller, downsize it a little bit, and make it so that at the very biggest, it's, this is probably this is like 5 inches tall. So, it's about as tall as the palm of my hand, a little taller, right? And then I have some drawings that I drew out, but I'm just going to show you kind of with the face map here, kind of like we did with the face map with the portraits. Just going to kind of divide the face, eyes, nose, and mouth, and vertical, right? Eyes, nose, mouth, okay? And you could choose to have your hole on top or on the bottom. Now, if it's on top, that might offer some chances for you to maybe develop some sort of a crown or a hat, or you can make that from scratch anyway. If you want it to be flat on the bottom, and if you want the whole part to be the bottom, then just do that a little bit and maybe backwards. See how I'm kind of angling it, doing that backwards? That way it sits properly, and you want it to sit so it looks nice when it is completed, and it can sit there for a little bit, and you can take pictures of it and post it on your webpage. Now, this modeling clay does not require heat, so you don't have to heat it up in the oven. I mean, it does require heat from your hands, but you also don't need to water it down at all or cover it. It's not going to dry. It's modeling clay, so it won't dry at all. All right. So if you look at some of the tikis, a lot of the tikis have, expressions on their face. And so, they may look angry. The eyebrows control a lot of that expression. So don't hesitate to kind of sketch that in. Now, you could use a paper clip if you don't have regular tools. Maybe tools from your dad's toolbox, nail punch, or pencils that are sharp. Old pens or parts to And so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of draw where these eyebrows are gonna be. And I'm gonna kind of carve around where I want them, right? Okay. And so I'm gonna take my tool, and eyebrows are gonna stick out. So that means you need to carve them so they pop out. Carve around them, in fact, like I'm doing there, right? I'm carving around the eyebrows. And remember, if you have trouble or have questions, something's confusing, just call and let me know, or email me, right? And then I'm gonna carve into where the eye is gonna go for now, right? And I'm gonna actually carve out more than that. I don't like how that looks, so I'm gonna use one of my tools here and carve in a little bit more. I've got a little scratch tool here that I'm gonna utilize. This would be helpful if you need something like this. I'm gonna carve this clay out of there kind of entirely, so I have a cavity where the eyes should be, but I'm gonna leave the center part. I'm gonna leave the center part for the nose, right? I'm going right where my eyebrow line is there. I'm just kind of going down behind it. I'm gonna leave the center part for the nose so that I can use that later. Doesn't matter if it looks pretty right now. You're gonna be doing a lot of fine tuning on this, and so that's okay if it's not exactly how you want it right now. It doesn't have to look beautiful yet, but you do want to take your time to perfect it later. Okay, so there's I have where the eyes are gonna go, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the eyes yet. I'll have that in mind after I get the nose done here. So I'm gonna go straight down with this tool, and again, you could use a paper clip too if you're careful, or a sharp pencil. And remember, tikis are not, they're not exactly perfect realistic examples of faces. They have exaggerated features, and you can use those at your advantage to make things more interesting. Now I'm saving all these little chunks of clay. Again, you don't have to wrap it because it's not real clay. If it was real clay, you'd have to wrap it. Okay? I've got the start of my nose, bridge of my nose, and I'm going to use some of these chunks of clay, and I'm going to use not only the carving method that I was just using, the taking away method, which is called subtraction. I'm going to use the additive method to add more clay to the bridge of my nose so it stands out more. And so I'm starting to blend that so the seams completely disappear and you don't see it anymore. I'm just gonna push upward. You can already see it starts to look like a nose, and if I wanted to, you know, that could be a pretty decent nose. If I wanted to leave it like that, I could, or I could add nostrils to the edge by taking and rolling little pieces of clay in the palm of my hand, picking up little pieces here, and try to make them the same size, obviously, right? Add a little more to this one because it's a little smaller, and roll them between your hands or your fingers, and then you can stick them on there like that, and then blend them together. And if they're too big, you can carve it down very easily. Okay? And now you can see I've got a nice wide nose started, right? Same thing where the lips are gonna go. This little piece that's above your lips, we're gonna add that there. I got a friend that does sculpture, and it's one of the things he always accented on his sculptures was that little piece above your lips, and I thought that was kind of interesting in his sculptures. So I'm going to put it in there, put a piece in there, kind of blend it down a little bit, right? And then I'm going to just put a little bit of a pattern right in there, kind of, and then it's going to develop into a line. I'm going to make a line, right? Just like that, right? Kind of accenting that part above the lip. It has a name. I believe it starts with an H. It's kind of a fancy scientific name, but I can't remember what it is. And then I'm gonna roll some coils for the lips. So I'm going to use this for the lips. Set this up like this. Roll this here for the lips. And I've got them on there like that. I don't like what they're looking like right now, so I'm going to have to change it a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead, kind of go with that route. I'm going to dip down a little bit in the top of the lip and the upper lip. Dip it down, kind of blend it backward, blend it in. Do the same thing down here, blend it so it sticks, and you can blend with your fingers pretty well, or you can take another smooth type of tool and kind of, see how I'm doing that, kind of blend in like that so that the seam disappears. Okay, and then it'll stick pretty well. And then if you have any, like to me this looks like a little bit of extra right here, I'm just going to cut that off, remove it, right, smooth it out, make it look all one again, push in maybe a little bit here or there. And then you could add teeth if you want to, or you could cut that out and it could be a hole too, or you could use the carving tool to carve teeth in there if you wanted to, because teeth are a little bit back, a little bit ways, right? And a lot of tikis have very big, huge, you know, funny looking teeth sometimes, and they kind of go back at an angle, and so you can kind of angle things like that and remove some more of that material. Like that, okay? And then I would just really clean up that area, remove all the little clay boogers, I call them, inside the teeth. That way it'll look way more genuine, realistic, because you don't have junk in between your teeth. Tikis don't have junk between their teeth because they're technically gods, so they're not going to have stuff between their teeth, right? They probably have a really good toothbrush, floss. All right, so you can kind of see where I'm going with that. I'm going to take a little bit more material from the inside, just the underside right here, cut a little bit away, see? And I'm going to add it to the material I have here, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to roll out a couple of eyes. I'm going to get one more about that size. You should have as much material as you need just on the inside of your clay head in order to do what you need to do for additive features, additive clay features. Right? I'm going to roll this up, put the eye on there, roll this up, do the same thing on the other side, put them right where they need to go, underneath the eyebrows. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit and start working that area a little bit more by smoothing those features out around there. Maybe take a little bit of material off this eye, just a little bit like that. Remove a little bit off this side over here, remove it. You can kind of see where it's at now. Then I'm going to take maybe a pencil, kind of tuck and pull a little bit. All right, now if you wanted to put an eyelid on here, you could flatten a piece of clay and lay it over the top of the eye. If you wanted to simply make it look crazy and scared, you could do something like that as well, okay? And now you've got to, you know, basically make it look pretty by cleaning everything up and adding interesting features. It's the features that's gonna get you, you know, the interesting grade. And so you can see all the things I added to this. I added a big flower, a big plate on top of his head. He's got a tribal piece of wood going through his lip. He's also got really interesting eyebrows, eyelids, and then he's got a piercing going through his nose right here, a hole, but I think I lost the stick that was going, and then he's got a feather right there that I carved into it. So those are all the features that you can add. This video has gotten pretty long already, so this is the basis of it. You get to this point, and if you need help with the features and such like that, all you have to do is let me know. Here's some more features on this one. She added hands, wings, a beak, feathers. You put holes in it, and you can put anything in it after the fact too. Toothpicks, piercings through the nose. If I were to use this, for example, and go right through his nose, I could use a trimmer and cut that off, and that would be his piercing. You could also add ears and have ears pierced. So remember, contact me if you need anything. This has been the Tiki sculpture modeling clay demonstration. All right, have a great day.